In this video, I will show you how to open up Jupyter Notebook, download files from the GitHub account created for this course, and how to upload files in the right format. So to access the course, the GitHub account for this course, and go to topic 1 right here, click on the GitHub link, and then it opens up the course page. And these are the folders that contain the files we will be working with. So if we go to topic 1, introduction, you see 2 files in there. In each topic, there will always be a lab workbook. So topic 1 will have lab1_workbook. Topic 3 will have lab3_workbook.ipynb, meaning interactive Python notebook, and so on. The other file is going to be the file I will be teaching you with in the lab sessions. So what Lab0 requires you to do is to download this file, the lab1 introduction.ipynb, rename it so it's your name, your first name, your last name, and the lab number, which is 0, and then you upload the file in the right format, which ends with ipynb. Good. So although you can see the file here, you might be tempted to right click and save as. Don't do that, because it's very easy for the file format to get screwed. If you download it this way, it could save it with a .html ending, or you could save it as a .txt file. Neither of those works. So I wouldn't be able to see your code if you upload a file of the wrong format, and that means you don't get any credit for it. So very important to be able to upload the right file format, and that's why we're going through this exercise. Good. So what we need to do is to download this entire folder structure, and we keep doing this as the course progresses week to week. So how do you clone this entire code repository? Go to code right here, this button here. Okay, I can't draw, but you can see my mouse. So click on code right there, and then you want to click on the download zip, and that will download it. So on Windows, you see it just shows you this small ribbon here, and you can actually click on this small arrow and then do show in folder. So it takes you to wherever folder that file is stored. So in this case, it stores it in this long folder structure or directory structure. So it ends up being in my downloads folder, and this is the file right here. So first thing to do is to extract all. So you right click on that zip file. Don't open the zip file directly. Right click on it and do extract all. Very important, because you can't really modify and save your file successfully while it is zipped. So I'm going to cancel this and do it again. So you want to right click on this file, not just double click and go into it. Right click on it and do what? Extract all. And then it asks you for where exactly you want the file to be. Right now, it defaults to wherever the zip file was located, which was in my downloads file. I'm okay with it. If you want to change it, you can browse and put it wherever you put it. But very important to know exactly the location of any Jupyter Notebook file you're working on, to avoid accidentally not saving your file because you're saving another file, or accidentally uploading a file from another folder instead of the file you actually worked on. These are very common mistakes that have happened in the course, and I'm trying to warn you ahead of time so you can avoid those. So I extract. Where is the file going to be extracted to? The same downloads folder. So in my downloads folder, I can see the file here. Windows tends to repeat the same folder structure. We don't care. So the folder name shows up twice. That's fine. And then we're in topic 1, and this is the file. Can you just double click this file and then it pulls up Jupyter Notebook? No. So we have to open up Jupyter Notebook, and for that you can come in here and search for Anaconda Navigator. So you type Anaconda. Before you're done typing it, it shows up here, so we can click on Anaconda Navigator. And what happens next is it's going to bring up a page from which you can launch the Jupyter Notebook. And for some reason, it's taking a little bit more time, but it's coming up. The icon is right here, the green wheel, and I'm going to click on it. This is it, and this is Jupyter Notebook, right? So what you need to do to launch it, you click on launch right here. So I click on launch, and this is what it brings up. It opens up this page in your default web browser, which in this case is Chrome. So this is the folder structure. What we need to do is to find the file wherever it is located on our computer, and we know it was located on download, so we downloaded it and put it into the downloads folder. And we're not going to open the zipped one, but the unzipped one. So we're on 20. To know the latest file, good idea is to come in here at the top right corner and click on this last modified. The first time you click on it, it sorts and shows the oldest first. Then you click on it a second time, and then it arranges it by date, and we know that the last modified file is the one at the very top. So again, we don't want to modify the zip file. You can actually delete the zip file right after extracting it. So we want to work with the extracted folder, which is this one. And we observed the folder structure was repeated, and this is it with all the file content. So you go to topic 1, and now we see the file we are interested in. The one I will be teaching you with is the Lab0 introduction. The one you will be working on is Lab0 workbook. So if I click on Lab0 introduction, and this is what I will be explaining in the course. So you can run this this command by clicking on it, clicking inside the cell, and if you scroll all the way to the top, you will see the run button. You can click on the run button, and then it prints out hello world. You can also simply do Control and enter. So you hold down the Control key and click enter at the same time, and then it runs it. That's the shortcut for running. And that's how far I'm going to go in this video, because I'll discuss all of this in class. So the goal in Lab0 is to make sure you can upload the right file format. So I'm going to close this, and what we need to do is to rename this file, right? It's telling me it's not going to save any changes. So to save changes, which is very important while making modifications in your workbook, either it's while working on your homework or while working on your midterm or your final, very important to use this button a lot, which is to save. So save frequently so that you don't lose anything. So after you're done saving, you can close out the file. And what we want to do is to rename the file. I should point out that you shouldn't to duplicate the file, which is what we want to do, right? We don't want to destroy or override this Lab0 introduction file. What we want is to create another file, which we will rename and follow the instructions in Lab0 assignment, which basically asks you to change the name to your name. So your first name underscore your last name underscore the lab number. So don't use this file button at all throughout this course, because it's easy to be tempted to click on file and do save as, and then try to save as if a different file. But what happens is it typically messes up the file type, and it becomes either an HTML file or a text file, and it just doesn't work. So pretend like this file button right here does not exist. The file menu, I should say. Pretend like the file menu doesn't exist. So always use this save to change the file name or create another file from this file. What we will do is we will go back to the location of this file, right? Which we know, because we know we put it in downloads. So if you go to downloads right here, then you go into the folder and into the topic, and this is the file we were working on. So I want another version of the file that will be renamed my first name and last name and Lab0. So I can right click on this and copy and paste. So I'm duplicating it, go copy, and then right click, paste. So I have a copy, and then I rename this copy so I still have my original file unchanged. So I come in here, my first name, my last name, lab number. So you can see the file remains a .ipynb, interactive Python notebook. That's what ipynb stands for. So all the files you submit to me have to be in this form. That's the only type of file that gets graded. So if you don't turn in an interactive Python notebook file, then you don't get any grade. So very important to be able to do this, and then you will upload this file as your Lab0 solution.